Jim Nance, Bill Sims here in Atlanta after an explosive first quarter by the Falcons. From the 20 of the Bucs, Hester to the 10 to the 5 and almost untouched takes it home for the touchdown.
Live from the 35-yard line.
First down, Ryan. And he's looking for Julio Jones. And oh, what a catch. Touchdown, Atlanta.
It's Onside Kickin' It with Alex P.
Welcome back, everybody. Tuning in to the Week 4 edition of Onside Kickin' It with Alex P. Hope everybody's having a good week. My Falcons won, so of course my week is going good. Speaking of my Falcons winning, let's recap Week 3 action real quick. As far as my picks are concerned, I did go 12-3. Pretty impressive, if I do say so myself. My upset pick of the week from last week, Detroit. They beat Green Bay by a score of 19-7. Detroit's defense, as I said, will prevail. They had 2 sacks, they had a safety, and a fumble return for a TD. So Green Bay has a lot of work to do with their offensive line if they're trying to be a contender this year. Also, Arizona, they beat San Francisco, as I said. Arizona making a strong case to be the number 2 team in the division, if not the number 1 team. As of right now, they are leading the division at 3-0. San Francisco, on the other hand, that third place team that I mentioned last week, 0 points in the second half. So San Francisco, they definitely need to do something. Jim Harbaugh, they need to get the boys together because Kaepernick isn't getting it done so far. ATL, Atlanta, my Falcons, they laid the smackdown on Tampa Bay on Thursday night. It's pretty good for me to see. The final score was 56-14, 35-0 before the first quarter. Matt Ryan was 21 for 24, threw for 286 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no picks. And most importantly, only 1 sack. So good job to the O-line. You guys deserve a cookie for this week. Julio Jones, that animal that he is, 9 receptions, 161 yards, 2 touchdowns, including 1 40-yard bomber that was pretty smooth. Great catch by him. Devin Hester had a rushing touchdown, the first of his career on the end around. Pretty smooth. That guy, he's going to turn out to be a good pickup for us in the long run. And he also had a punt return for a TD, and that broke the record for most return touchdowns, beating prime time. Pretty cool to see Devin Hester in a Falcons uniform beating prime time, beating his record in the Georgia Dome. It was a pretty special moment for the Falcons. The most impressive story, though, was that defense. We went into the game with 0 sacks, being the only team in the league without one, to having 3 sacks, 2 fumbles, and a pick return for a touchdown. The Bucs, I don't think they came off the bus. They stayed in Tampa Bay because they got demolished. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, well, hey, it's the Bucs, so you're supposed to be doing that against the Bucs. No. Division games, first of all, are always played closely. Look at how we played New Orleans even last year, a couple close games against Tampa Bay. The fact that the Falcons put up 56 points, 35 of it being in the first quarter, as a Falcon fan, you're thinking either 2 things going into the game. It's going to be a close game that's decided by 3 points, or we'll get a good lead and blow it. But it was great to see the Falcons not only beat the crap out of a division opponent, but the fact that they stepped on their necks and didn't let up throughout the entire game. One could argue, those 2 touchdowns that Tampa Bay scored, one on a pass interference that definitely should have been called. A couple questionable calls towards the end of the game, and then a pick 6 by Tampa's defense. But TJ Yates was in. Matt Ryan didn't even play 4th quarter, so we're not even going to count that. I did have some wrong picks. I didn't go undefeated, unfortunately. Baltimore did beat Cleveland. Seattle did beat Denver. I know I shouldn't have made that pick, but you know how Peyton Manning plays in the regular season, so I gave him the benefit of the doubt, being that it was the regular season. And Carolina got whooped. They got whooped by Pittsburgh. I figured if Pittsburgh would win, it would be a close one, but not at all. But it's good for the Falcons that Carolina lost. Before I get to my Week 4 picks, I'm going to hit you with Alex P's power rankings. I'm going to rank the top 10 teams as of this point, according to me, of course. We'll start out our top 10 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like I said, they handled business against Carolina on the Sunday night game. Definitely was not expecting that. Number 9, we got the Chicago Bears. They played a close game against the Jets on Monday night. They kind of ran away with it towards the second half. Number 8, we got the New England Patriots. I don't know what's going on with their offense, but they can't do it with just Gronk. They need to get some help on that outside. They need their receivers to definitely step up. They barely beat Oakland last week, so which was surprising considering that it was a home game. You would expect them to dominate, but it's closely contested, and they pulled it out at the end thanks to their defense. Number 7, we got the Atlanta Falcons. Definitely, like I said, an impressive showing against Tampa Bay. We want to see if they can maintain it and stay consistent, and that's kind of a reason why they're not higher due to inconsistency. But I'm pretty sure they'll get that turn. They'll keep it up. Number 6, we got the San Diego Chargers. They had a good game against Buffalo and a good game against the Seahawks. They're proving that they're trying to be one of the top contenders. Also, my sleeper pick to win the AFC West, so good to see them maintaining. Rounding out the top 5, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. They're doing pretty good, undefeated so far. Wins against Washington, a smooth win against Jacksonville. Number 4, I got the Arizona Cardinals. Impressive win against San Francisco. Even though Larry Fitzgerald almost messed it up for him towards the end of the game, their defense, they bared down and shut down Kaepernick in the second half. Like I said, 0 points scored by 49ers in the second half. Number 3, we got the Denver Broncos. Even though they lost a tough game against Seattle, they did almost do a comeback. It was a smooth fourth quarter for Peyton Manning. Number 2, we got the undefeated Cincinnati Bengals. They're doing pretty good. They're off to a solid start this season, so let's see if they're going to maintain it. And number 1, going to give it to the defending champs, the Seattle Seahawks. Still doing pretty good, still showing that they're dominant. They slipped up against San Diego, but they definitely rebounded against Denver. Now it's time to get into my week 4 picks. Starting off with, of course, the Falcons. We're going to travel up to Minnesota to play the Vikings. Questionable on if Matt Castle is going to play. Of course, still no Adrian Peterson. So that should definitely be an easier matchup this week for the Falcons. So I expect them to go up there, win on the road against Minnesota. A Thursday night game is going to be New York traveling to Washington to beat Kirk Cousins and the Redskins. I'm going to pick Washington to maintain at home and take the division win. Green Bay is going to travel to Chicago to play the Bears. And when's the last time Aaron Rodgers lost back-to-back games? Well, I'm not quite sure, but we'll find that out. I picked them to lose against the Chicago Bears this week. Buffalo is going to travel to Houston to play the Texans. Houston, they lost a good one to New York last week. So I expect Houston to handle business at home and beat the Buffalo Bills. Tennessee is going to play Indianapolis in a good division game. I expect Indy to win that one. Detroit is going to travel to New York to play the Jets. Should be another good one for Matt Stafford and those boys. I expect them to take the win home. Baltimore is going to host Carolina. That's going to be an interesting game with Steve Smith playing Carolina. He's been talking trash since he got let go by the Panthers, so I expect him to show out. And Baltimore will take the win against Carolina. Pittsburgh will be at home against the winless Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If they play like they did last week, they will get drugged again. It's kind of sad to see Lovie Smith's team fall like that. I really like Lovie Smith. The Oakland Raiders will host Ryan Tannehill and the Miami Dolphins, but not in Oakland. They will be at Wembley Stadium in London, England. Derek Carr, I like him as a quarterback, but I don't think he'll be able to get the job done against Miami. He's still going through his growing pains. Then there's Jacksonville. Blake Bortles is going to get the start against San Diego. I'm excited about that, to see Blake play. Unfortunately, they are playing San Diego. That's a pretty good team, and I don't think Blake Bortles will have enough to get it done against San Diego. Philadelphia will play San Francisco in San Francisco. Even though the 49ers are struggling, I think this week they will get it together, and Philadelphia will suffer their first loss of the season. Our Sunday night game just so happens to be my upset pick of the week, as New Orleans goes to Jerry's World to play Dallas. Now, as much as I dislike the Cowboys, I dislike the Saints even more than any team in the league, because I'm a Falcons fan, and that's what we do. We don't like the Saints. But with that being said, being at home in Dallas under the lights on Sunday Night Football, usually that's when the Dallas Cowboys choke the most. But this week, I think they're going to get the win. Like I said, in upset fashion against the Saints. And our Monday night game will be New England as the Patriots go to play the Kansas City Chiefs. Patriots, like I said, have been struggling, but I think they're going to be clicking on all cylinders Monday night as they play the Chiefs. Before I end the show, I had a debate with some of the people at the radio station at 680 The Fan about who are the top 5 receivers in the NFL. Now, I get mad when I hear people say Dez Bryant is better than Julio Jones. I strongly disagree with that. I believe Julio is a monster, and Dez, he's good. Don't get me wrong, he's a great player, but I don't think he's better than Julio. He is my top 5 receiver, though. He's having a pretty good season so far. He's 20 receptions, 247 yards, and 2 touchdowns. My number 4, Brandon Marshall. He's a little bit light on the yardage side. He's 14 receptions for 125 yards, but he does have 4 scores. That's number 1 in the league with touchdowns. Number 3, I got A.J. Green. He's 12 receptions. He's missed some time. Only 233 yards and 1 touchdown, but as the season progresses, he'll definitely add to those yards. Number 2, of course, would have to be Julio Jones. Right now, he has 23 receptions and is leading the league with 365 yards. And he also has 3 scores. Number 1, got to give it to Calvin. As much as I love Julio, I don't think anybody's on Calvin's lead, even though Julio's a good second. Right now, he has 19 receptions, but he 329 yards. So he's getting the yards and 2 touchdowns. So those are my top 5 receivers. Next week, I'm going to do top 5 quarterbacks. You know, that's going to be interesting and very debatable. So until next week, I'm signing off. Make sure you leave your comments. I appreciate everybody for listening to week 1. Hope you continue to listen to week 2. Like, share it with all your homies. Have them pick. And I'll holler at y'all next week.